Yeah, Bikes Omega. Today, this week rather, I show you how to take care of your chain, your motorcycle chain. It's very important to keep this thing very healthy and well maintained. Here it is. The first thing you always want to do is inspect your chain. Now I got the bike lifted. It's on the rear stand, and you could do it without that. You can inspect your chain. You could even lube and clean your chain without it. It might be a little more difficult and take longer. But stands aren't too expensive, especially if you buy them used off Craigslist or whatever you want to use to buy them, yard sale. You just need these spools. Each bike one's different, so don't go buying any old spool. Make sure you got the right one for your bike, and they just pretty much screw in right there on both sides. And yeah, inspecting your chain, you always want your chain lubed up, nice and lubed up, because it's a moving metal part against another moving metal part, and if it doesn't have any lube there, it's just going to wear it down and your chain's not going to last long at all. One of the things to inspect on your chain first is the tension, and you could do that by moving this up and down to see how much play you got there. And there's if you want to exact, you're not sure how much you should have, in your owner's manual it will have a number, whether it be in centimeters or inches. I don't know what they do depending on where your bike was made, but you want the very bottom, pull it down as far as you can along the bottom of the chain, take that measurement, place a ruler there, whatever you're using, and then up as high as it could go against the top of it, and you want to measure that length, and it should be a certain number. And if it's way too low, I've seen people's chains, like, you can basically flop it around, and that's not good. Just the chain's not going to last long, and it's unsafe. You can tell it's pretty well lubed right now. You recently did it, but people say, "Oh, my chain's loose. I need to tighten it." You don't tighten a chain. What happens with chains is they're metal. They stretch over time slowly, and that's what makes it fall down. So you need to move basically the rear tire back is what you're doing. You're not tightening the chain. You're moving the rear tire back. And I don't need to really do that whole process. I could tell you how it's done. You'll need a stand for that if you're going to do that, so I'd recommend get one anyways. You want to take this pin out from the rear axle bolt and then loosen the bolt. Make sure you have a torque wrench to torque it back as well, because it has a certain foot-pounds it needs to be at. Again, that's your user guide. This one, which will loosen it up, and then this one more toward the front, which will either loosen or tighten, moving the wheel forward or backward. And there's one on each side like that. There's one there, and then there's one there. And you want to make sure they're even. And you can keep track where you're at. Sorry, the bike's not really clean, but these little nicks right there, 1, 2, 3, and that's like a little point where you know you want both of them to be at the same side. And you could play with it and eventually get your chain to the tension you want it to be. And once that's all done, you just replace everything that you did. So you'll be moving your tire back to make the tension you want. And some chains, you'll know it's time for a new chain when you either have kinks in it, or if your tire is maxed back as far as it could go, and that's time for a new chain. Another way you can inspect it, you want to look for kinks in the chain. Those aren't good. That's if you don't take care of your chain. Don't lube it, don't clean it, and don't make it the appropriate tension. Looking for a kink right about where this is, in this section, and that will be up a little like that, and it won't be straight. It'll basically, be kinked. And you just want to inspect, roll completely throughout the length of the chain, and look for those imperfections. And if you have a few, you might want to reconsider getting a new chain, because it's a very important part of the bike. This is moving fast constantly. To lube the chain, basically, if it's not really clean, I'm probably going to clean mine the next time before I lube it. Basically, to clean the chain, you'll have chain cleaner. It looks similar like this. This is the chain guard or the chain lube. And you like how I'm just filming in the dark here in my garage. My little light's not enough, but I'm trying out a new camera. But anyways, you have it'll basically be like a chain cleaner. I gotta go pick some up because I think I'm out. And you want a toothbrush, a firm bristle toothbrush, and you spray it all over. It helps to heat the bike up and ride it up, heat the chain up. It'll make it easier to clean. So you want to take it out and let it cool down a little and then start to clean it. You basically just spray it all, and most people, they'll remove this little cover blocking the chain. So you could just take that off and you could clean it easier, get to more parts of it. And you just want to scrub it with the brush and make sure it's, just clean it, the cleaner and the brush. It's not that complicated. And then you have the chain lube. There's two different kinds. There's a chain guard and one that says chain lube. And the chain guard, it basically doesn't have that, I don't know what it's called. If someone knows, you can tell me in the comments or whatever. But it doesn't have that. This is clear. It doesn't leave like a white residue. I don't know what that stuff is called or why you would prefer it. I tried to find out what the difference is. From what I've heard, there's not really much of a difference except the residue left over. Some people don't like it because it flakes off, but I use a clear one for now. I thought I'd try it out. I've never used it before, and you could basically want to spin the tire, and you could spray it in there with a rag behind or whatever, or I've seen people go around right here, and you want to make sure you use the little tube it comes with, the thin extension, so you could get down in between all the crevices and lube it really well. And there's no set amount of miles you lube the chain. You just lube it when it's dry. Make sure you're always inspecting it. It's a very important part of your bike. If there's anything I left out, feel free to comment. But I know I don't know everything about it, so if you get some advice, feel free to throw it on in there. Alright, Bax Omega out.